Boom. What is going on, everybody? We are live and we are getting ready for another episode of the Elite Development Podcast. So really quick, before we get into the show, make sure you are sharing this stream around with a coach, with a teammate, with a friend, with someone who is going to need to hear this message. Make sure to drop me a comment, whether here or back on the replay, to let me know you're here. Let me know that you're listening. Let me know what you are taking away from the episode as we get into it. So today we're going to be talking about 5 things you need to start doing every single week if you want to be successful as an athlete. And you know what? We're going to get into it because I'm ready to go. So we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Elite Development Podcast, the #1 show for athletes looking to gain an edge on their opponents and build their dream careers in sport. I'm your host, Kenny Dusseault, and today we're going to be talking about 5 things you need to start doing each and every week if you want to be successful as an athlete long term. Now, #1 is to strength train 2 to 3 times a week. Now, this is something that obviously being a strength coach, I'm extremely passionate about, but on a higher level than just me being passionate about it, let me tell you why strength training is so important. Pretty much every athlete I've ever worked with or every athlete I've ever spoken to has long-term goals in their sport. They want to be around for a long time. They don't just want to, play a year and then take off or, have 1 or 2 fights and then take off. They want to do this for a long time. Now, what they think is that the more I train, the longer I'm going to be able to do this. But really and truly, what starts getting in the way first, when you see athletes retiring at the end of their careers, what is often the first thing to get in the way? The body. You start to slow down. You're not as quick, you're not as strong, you're not as powerful. Injuries start to take over. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we can prevent every single injury because that's obviously just not realistic. But what I'm going to say with absolute certainty is that a majority of the injuries that you see athletes suffer in their sport are preventable. The majority of the injuries you see athletes suffer in their sport are preventable. And how do we prevent them? Creating a stronger structure. The reason strength training is so important for athletes is because if you are stronger, let's say your shoulder joint is 20% stronger than it is right now, then any movement that's going to cause injury to that joint needs to put 20% more force on that joint before it gets hurt. So now instead of spending all your time just skills training, now start thinking about little things like that. Start understanding that if my shoulders are weak and my shoulders are stiff and I'm not putting time into building my shoulders, I'm going to start breaking down faster. And in turn, I'm not going to be able to compete as long. So #1 is strength training 2 to 3 times a week. #2 is having a recovery day, minimum 1 day a week. And I say minimum because there are going to be weeks that you're going to need more than one. But you need minimum 1 recovery day a week. And why is that? Because again, similar to why you need to be strength training, your body can only take so much. And if you start training every single day, you're not taking breaks, you're not stepping back, you're not allowing yourself to heal, recover, recharge, and get ready for another hard week of training, there's going to hit a point of diminishing returns. You're going to make improvements, and then your body's going to be so beat up that you start to fall off simply because you're not allowing yourself to recover to the level that you need to. So by having 1 recovery day every single week, you're going to allow your body to start feeling better, allow your body to start recovering. Those little aches and pains are going to start to go away because they have time away from the sport to actually heal. And by doing this, you're going to start seeing that every session you do during your week starts giving you better and better results because you're not overdoing it all the time. So have 1 recovery day a week. That's #2. #3, and we're rolling through these things pretty quick today. #3 is meal prepping. Now, this one is extremely important and one that I see a lot of athletes overlooking. Meal prepping is so important because if you are training really well, let's say you've got your training systems dialed in, you're training 6 days a week, you're doing all the right stuff, you're recovering properly, you're strength training, you're putting all the pieces together, but you're fueling your body with shit week in and week out. Now that's just going to have the same effect as if you weren't training properly because your body needs good fuel. That's like if you have if you have a car, you need to fill the engine, you need to fill the gas tank with gas, not apple juice. Might look the same, but one's going to function a lot better than the other. It's the same thing with your body. When you are training really hard and you are trying to recover and you are trying to continue to level up in your athletic career, you need to be fueling your body properly. If you don't know how to do this, guys, we have this magical thing called Google, and it's a very, very great resource. You can go in there and type how to eat to improve athletic performance. You can go in there, you can type how much protein should I be eating if I weigh, insert your body weight there. You can go in there and you can look up high-level nutritionists. One that I would highly recommend is Lane Norton. And you can watch videos that he's been putting out for the last 15 years on different areas of nutrition, the importance of understanding nutrition, the importance of developing your nutrition habits, and how they are going to affect you day to day, whether you are an athlete or not. So start understanding how to better prep your meals, start understanding how to actually properly fuel your body, and in turn, start seeing improved performance when you come back to your sport. Now, number 4 that we need to go through is developing a mindset routine. So this one is massively important. And this one is one that I've recently adopted for myself as a business owner, is developing a mindset routine that I go through every single morning. And the reason I'm going to share my mindset routine as a business owner is because it's a very similar concept to what you guys are doing as athletes. I have nobody telling me I have to wake up in the morning and I have to get to work. Just like you have nobody forcing you to go to training. And if your coach is forcing you to go to training every day, that is a story, that is a problem that we need to address in another episode, because you are not going to make it anywhere in your sport if you're not passionate about it. So your coach shouldn't be forcing you to train. So when I wake up in the morning and I have nobody there telling me, hey, Kenny, you've got to do this, and this today, I've got to come up with that list on my own. Not only do I have to come up with that list, but I have to stick to that list if I want to achieve the goals I have for my career. And I want to be the owner of the #1 combat sports conditioning program in the world. I want to impact millions of athletes in their lives and careers and help them achieve their dreams through the work that I do. And if I'm going to do that, plain and simple, I got to be on my shit. I can't afford to, take weeks off at a time. I can't afford to miss days. I can't afford to, just chill and kind of work when I feel like it. I've got to be on my shit every fucking day. And the way that I do that is through this morning mindset routine. So the goals that I just stated for my own career, these are, like I said, high level goals. These are things that, not a lot of people in the world are going to be able to achieve. And so I have the audacity to say, I want to do these things. What am I going to do every day that shows I'm the person to do that instead of somebody else? So one of the first things is I need to show up as the person who achieves all of those high level goals. I need to show up as the person who doesn't miss their workouts, doesn't miss on their morning routines, doesn't miss the work that they say they're going to do, has that integrity to say, if I do something, it gets done. Now, I can't say that I'm perfect. No, I definitely miss things. I definitely make mistakes. I'm not going to try to sit here and say that I don't. But this morning mindset routine was the game changer for that. So the first thing I do is I wake up at 4:30 in the morning every single morning, 6 days a week. I have my day off on Saturday. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, 6 days a week. The reason why? Do I have to be up that early? No. The reason I do it is because I don't want to do it. And it just helps me start my day with a win. It helps me start my day every day. Alarm goes off. I don't hit snooze. I hit stop. I get up and I start my day. So right away, I'm stacking that win. I'm telling myself, you say you're going to do something, you fucking do it. And that's what you guys need to start doing. Because if you want to be a UFC champion one day, guess what? You've got to build that reputation with yourself now. If you want to be a professional athlete getting paid millions of dollars to compete in a sport, you've got to build that reputation with yourself today. That's it. So what I started doing is started waking up at 4:30 in the morning every single day, because that allows me to build that reputation with myself of when I say I'm going to do something, I fucking do it. And so that's what you guys need to start with. to really start to build that reputation with yourself that you are going to become the person you tell yourself you're going to become. Because if you're sitting here right now and you say, I'm going to be a UFC champion one day, and then you tell yourself, yeah, I'm going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you get up at 6, and then you hit the snooze button 5 times, and really you don't get up until 7:30. You're programming your mind as someone who doesn't do the things they're saying that they're going to do. And I know it sounds simple. What does it matter what time you wake up in the morning? But you're starting your day out of alignment and out of integrity. You're starting your day telling yourself that my word doesn't mean shit. So then when you start making bigger promises, like I'm going to win a UFC championship one day, you don't really believe it, do you? And that was me for a long time. When I said, I want to coach athletes for a living, I want to own my own gym, I want to do all these things, for a long time, I didn't believe it, even though I was saying it. And the reason I didn't believe it is because I wasn't acting as the person who gets to do those things. You know, I was telling myself I wanted to spend my days coaching elite level amateur and professional athletes. And then I was out drinking and partying on the weekends and then making it through my day on Sunday, viciously hungover, just trying to stay awake as I was coaching on Sundays. And I was wondering why those high level professional athletes didn't want to work with me, because I wasn't acting as the coach who gets to work with that kind of population. Now I do. And that level of athlete starts flocking to me. I get messages on a weekly basis, at least, saying, hey, I'm looking for a strength coach and you look like the fucking guy. And I can confidently turn back to them and say, yeah, I am the fucking guy. Come work with me and you're going to get amazing results, because I act as that person every day. So now I've gone on a little bit of a tangent, but step 1 of that mindset routine was picking your wake up time and sticking the fuck to it. So for me, that is 4:30 in the morning. It doesn't have to be that early for you in the beginning if you don't want it to be. But pick that time, stick to it. I'm going to wake up at 7 o'clock every day. Wake up at 7 o'clock every day. Don't fucking miss it. Whatever the time is right now, pick it and stick to it. Now, the next piece of that is going to be making sure that you have a system, in place that you are priming your mind for the day. Now, for me, this is a simple meditation. I take 10 minutes. I follow a different YouTube video. Sometimes it's money mindset meditations. Sometimes it's, more focused around like, visualization and things like that. But I find different YouTube videos that I enjoy, and I follow those different YouTube videos that I enjoy. And I meditate for 10 minutes every day. And so that just allows me to think about, where I'm at with my life right now, think about the things that I want to achieve, think about where I'm at and what I need to change in order to achieve those things I want to achieve. And I take 10 minutes of my day and I just let that roll through my mind. Now, that's number 2. Number 3 is right over there. If you're watching this on the video, I have my company vision written up on my wall directly above my desk. And so basically, it has everything that I want for my business in the next 3 years. And the reason that's so important, guys, is because now every single day, I'm looking at the goals that I have for my business in the next 3 years. I'm looking at how much money I want to be making. I'm looking at how many coaches I want to have on my team. I'm looking at how many athletes I want to be working with. I'm looking at the level of athletes that I want to be working with. I'm looking at different programs that I want to start in order to continue to impact those athletes at higher levels. I'm looking at everything that I want to achieve in my career over the next 3 years, every single day. And so now every day before my day is starting, I know exactly what the fuck I'm working for that day. I know exactly where I'm at. I know exactly what I'm after. And I know exactly what I need to do today in order to move forward towards that tomorrow. Now, the next thing and the last main part of this morning routine before I truly get to work is I sit down and I write 3 intentions for the day, 3 affirmations about myself, and 3 things I'm grateful for. So number 1, with the intentions, it's things that you have that day. So for you guys, that can be, if you're sparring later tonight, my intention for sparring is, and then it's like, if there's a certain skill you want to be working on while you're there, write that down. My intention for sparring is that I'm going to work on blank, insert that skill here. My intention for work today is that I'm going to show up with energy so my boss understands that I care about my job. My intention for, whatever it is. So for me, a lot of the time, those are around, how I'm showing up for client meetings, how I'm showing up for my team, how I'm showing up for my athletes. And My intention is to over deliver to all of my athletes today and make them all understand how much I care about them. And writing those little things down just reaffirms with me again that even on days where I don't have a lot of energy, even on days where I don't feel good, even on days where in my head I don't want to, I still show up at 100% and I still do everything I can for every athlete that is part of my company. Or I still show up and I do everything I can for every coach that is part of my company. Now, again, this doesn't mean that I'm perfect. I make mistakes. Things fall through the cracks. I'm not going to sit here and say that, put together a morning routine and everything's perfect immediately. But it also allows me to address those mistakes more effectively. If I make a mistake, if something bad happens in my business, now because I reaffirm every single morning that I'm here to over deliver to each and every person that's part of my company, if I make a mistake, I don't sit there and say, oh, this client's upset, so, fuck him. I sit here and I say, okay, this client's upset. What did I do wrong? And how can I fix it to make sure that I continue to over deliver on a daily basis? Because that is my goal for every single athlete that's part of this company. Now, the gratitudes, I was lost where I was in that. So that's my intentions for the day. The next thing is affirmations, and then gratitudes are last. So the next thing is affirmations. So the affirmations are just things about myself. One thing for me is my company, if you know me or have been following me for a while, my company blew up over the last year. It just about tripled in size. And so that's a lot to handle. But at the same time, as someone who was barely keeping their head above water through most of COVID, having a company triple in size in about 4.5 months was incredible, but also was super stressful because every day I was dealing with, those thoughts of, well, how long is it going to last? And is it all going to go away? And what if it all just disappears tomorrow? And so every morning, one of my affirmations is, I am the creator of my reality. And I reaffirm with myself that I'm doing as well as I am with this company. And I'm having the success that I'm having with my athletes because I deserve it, because I've put the work and I've put the time and I've put the effort into creating that reality. So for you guys, that can, again, be something. If you're, as an example, turning pro is a huge step for a lot of fighters. So that can be one of those things that you can reaffirm to yourself every day. I'm deserving of a professional MMA contract or a professional boxing contract or whatever it is, because then every time you sit there and you have that imposter syndrome and you're sitting there going, oh, am I ready for the pros? You're affirming to yourself. And you're looking back at the last 10 years of training and the last 10 years of amateur fights, and the last 10 years of all those things you've put yourself through. You're looking at that and you're saying, fuck yeah, I'm deserving of this pro contract. Fuck yeah, I'm deserving to be where I'm at because I've put the fucking work in. But you're intentional about that. You're not just understanding it, you're thinking about it every day. Now we get to the gratitudes. And the gratitudes, this is something that honestly, I've understood more and more over just the last couple of months how important this is. But the gratitudes, the last piece is really just understanding that you're blessed to be in the position you're in. If you're an athlete right now pursuing your sport, even if it's not your full-time income at the moment, you're blessed to be in a position you're in. There are millions of people around the world that don't have clean water, and you get to pursue your passion and potentially make your living at it. How fucking cool is that? So like one of my gratitudes every single day is I'm grateful to wake up every morning and make my living doing what I love. I fucking love coaching. Like if you've known me for any kind of period of time, I fucking love coaching more than anything. Like this is what I've wanted to do since I was 13 years old. And I get to wake up every morning and doing it and do it. And not only do I get to wake up every morning and do it, I get to wake up every morning and make good money doing it. Like, this is the coolest thing in the fucking world. And if you're an athlete, I need you to understand that the fact that you get to wake up every day and pursue your passion, the fact that you get to wake up every day and pursue your sport is fucking amazing. And so sitting down and reminding yourself of that just gets you out of that negative headspace that we find ourselves in so much. It's easy to look at life and get caught up in the fact that, oh, my business isn't where I want it to be, or, oh, that athlete got the opportunity that I wanted and I felt like I deserved it. And yeah, it's easy, you can sit in that, you could be a little upset, but understand you're blessed to be where you're at. understand you live an amazing life, and it's up to you to continue to make it more amazing. So you choose where you spend your energy, and sitting down and writing down 3 things you're truly grateful for every day just reaffirms that and gets your day started in such an amazing headspace. So that was all on number 4, which is developing a mindset routine that you do every day. So personally, I would do that all in the morning. Now, number 5, and this one's going to be quick again. I feel like 15 of the 20 minutes we were talking was all on developing the mindset routine, but honestly, that's the hardest part, in my opinion, to really develop and stick to. Now, number 5 is you need time away from the sport. If you want to be successful as an athlete long-term, you need time away from the sport. I know you love it. I know that you're passionate about it, but your brain can only concentrate for so long. And if you're training 7 days a week, if you're doing multiple hours a day, every single day, then your brain is going to give out on you. And I don't mean brain damage. I mean, you're not going to really be taking in information. You're going to hit a point where you're going to the classes, you're going through the motions, but you're not absorbing shit that coach is saying to you. And if that's happening to you, you being there is not helping you. It's not furthering your career because you're not taking anything in. And if you're not taking anything in, if you're not really learning, then why are you there? So you need time away from the sport. You need something else you can do. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time. Usually it's 1 day a week, that recovery day. Just be away from the sport. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time. But by taking that time, by truly allowing yourself to separate, just here and there, you're going to start noticing that when you come back to the sport, first of all, you're more excited. You know, you take Sunday off, you're going to come back Monday, you're going to be bouncing up and down, you're going to be ready to go, you're going to want to train. You're not just going to be showing up because you have to. And I guarantee the guy who's showing up because he's excited to be there is getting more out of that hour, more out of that session than the guy who's showing up because he has to, every time. And I guarantee that if you are showing up excited to train, you're going to take more information in. And if you take more information in, you're going to get better results, even if you're there less time overall during the week. So I really want you guys to take a lot away from this. From that 5th one, I really want you guys to understand that being away, don't view it as I'm sacrificing going to training on Sundays or whatever day it is that you're taking away. View it as I'm taking my day away to recharge the batteries to have a full battery for the next week of training. Right? So that recovery day, that day away from training, that day where you're not focused on your sport, that's the day that you're able to actually recharge so that you can get more out of the rest of your week. Because if you're just using your energy, you're just going every single day, eventually you're running on that empty gas tank or you're running on that low battery and you're still functioning. Sure, you're still going through the motions, but you're not learning anything. And if you're not learning anything, you just showing up isn't good enough. And if you're not showing up at your best, if you're not actually taking anything in, what's the point of being there? Why would you not want to recharge so that even if instead of doing 14 sessions a week, 2 sessions a week, 7 hours a day, 7 days a week, 2 sessions a day, 7 days a week. Now, instead of doing 14 sessions a week, if you're doing 12, you're going to get more out of those 12, and in turn, the results are going to be better. Or if you're doing 1 session a day, instead of doing 7, you're doing 6, you're going to get more out of those 6, and in turn, that is going to yield you better results to the sport, which is what actually matters. All right, everybody, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you giving me the time of day. I hope you got value from that. I saw a couple comments coming in talking about this podcast being inspirational, and that just fills my heart up with joy. So I appreciate you all, everybody who's here. As always, my one ask is that you guys share this show with a teammate, with a friend, with someone who needs to hear this message. We put out 5 shows a week. We put it out every single day, Monday to Friday, and the goal is to help you. So share it with a teammate, share it with a friend, and then drop me a message and let me know the value that you're taking away. Let me know the things you've started doing based off of the things you've learned here. I always love getting those messages from you guys. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon.